If you're anything like me and you get the sudden urge to reset your life every 3 months, this is for you. Hi, my name is Tony, and I'm just a 20-something documenting her life and trying to be more intentional along the way. And I love planning and journals. And my ecosystem right now currently consists of both the Hobonichi Cousin and the Hobonichi Weeks, but that doesn't mean I don't struggle with perfection. One of my biggest struggles with planners is if you're not consistent and you kind of fall off, it makes it really hard to start again. And at the beginning of this year, I didn't really get a chance to do a very aesthetic goals page or quarterly goals page. And that kind of resulted in me just floating through the first 3 months of the year with no clear direction as to where I wanted to go. And I knew I needed to make a change going into Q2, but I just didn't really know where to start. Physical journals and planning can be so intimidating, especially as someone who struggles with perfectionism. You don't really want to commit to something on the page that you're not proud of or you just don't like. And resetting for the quarter is just something that I knew I wanted more of a place where I could not really have to worry about it being perfect, take me as long as I needed it to be, and I wasn't skipping a bunch of pages. So I'm gonna share with y'all my quarterly reset planner and how I use it to realign and reflect on the past months and just make a plan on where I want to go. It's not meant to replace any of my planners, so it's not meant to be like a daily planner, weekly or monthly planner. This is really just meant for you to pick it up at any time in the quarter. Honestly, you could pick it up on day one of Q2 or on the last day. It's really just a place to check in with yourself. Let's just go ahead and get started on each page and how I'm actually going to use it in real life and also integrate into my physical journals. I use GoodNotes. It's just what I've used since I've had my iPad. The first page is really just a reflection and looking back on this first quarter. I do something similar to this at the end of each month in my physical planner, which was such a help when I was actually filling this out, to be able to go back to what I make to kind of like remind myself, and just flipping through my actual like pages in my Hobonichi to kind of rejuvenate my memory. It's really not like super deep and complicated. It's really just 4 prompts. What went well, what felt draining, my favorite moments, and lessons I'm taking with me. Try not to overthink it. I just write the first thing that comes to mind. And the beauty of digital planning is it's very easy to just erase and keep moving. The next page is just a life check-in and just getting a better idea of which areas of your life might need a little work or which areas are going really well. So I have 6 different categories, if you will: wellness, routines, social, work, finances, and mental health. And I rated each one on a scale of 1 to 5 on how satisfied I am, with 5 being the most satisfied. Really like the visual that this gives you, because you can kind of see which areas might be influencing each other, area maybe that deserves your attention in the quarter. So for me, it was definitely routine and finances. In Q1, I focused a lot on my physical health. I completed 75 hard, and I think I just kind of stopped there. I mean, I wasn't really getting the best sleep. I was snoozing my alarm. See how that created an imbalance just in my routines. And also finances were something that I'm not super satisfied in. I had a ton of unexpected expenses just come up, like one after another after another. This way it makes it feel a little less intimidating, because when you're like thinking about it, you kind of think of all the negative, but then you also think of all the other areas are going well in your life. And the next page is more of a reset and release page. It's kind of like a take on those ins and outs. I love those like pages in my journal. I'm letting go of, especially, it doesn't really necessarily have to be bad habits, but I did it this quarter on bad habits I really want to let go of and what I'm inviting in. Kind of doing this ins and outs page makes me realize why I want to let this go and like what my life could potentially look like if I do let this go. So if I stop snoozing my alarm every single morning and I wake up an hour late every single morning, maybe I would be able to have slower mornings, work on my social media content more, read more. Any good planner, there needs to be some type of vision board involved. That makes a vision board really feel like a reality or something I can attain is writing how or what those pictures represent for me. I really like to pick a couple of pictures and kind of write how that picture makes me feel. And I really love writing. I'm trying to get like my writing skills up. So this is something that I do in my journals for each month. And I try to make it a little more whimsical, if you will. So I chose a couple of pictures on here. The thing about spring just always makes me feel like I can be born again. I mean, I'm an April baby, so obviously there's always gonna be that sense of like rebirth for me during the spring. Words to my vision as to like why that is so important to me. So you could also just probably do like a regular vision board and call it there, but I really just like to get a little more poetic with it, if you will. The last page is just a soft plan and what I'm focusing on this quarter. I usually try to do 3 priorities. I feel like this is the best way to kind of break down goals for each quarter. So on this goal, 1 financial goal, and then 1 personal goal. So really struggle with in my physical planners is kind of like habit tracking and really knowing which habits to track and how to track them. Breaking down my top 3 priorities into 3 habits that I could potentially track. Priorities this quarter are going to be tracking my spending and updating my budget weekly. This is something that I kind of fall off usually during the end of the month to do it, but this is something that I really want to focus on. Like I want to give every single dollar a job in my bank account. Like no dollar will go unwasted, whether that is going towards an extra debt payment or going towards my savings. Like every dollar will have a job in Q2 in my bank account. My next goal is to wake up 1 hour earlier. I kind of hesitated making this a personal goal, but truly like my morning routine has got to change. I cannot keep living in this like constant state of being in a rush in the morning. And my last goal is to start running again because I have fallen off, y'all. I have fallen off so bad from running. And when I was filling out my planner, I kind of like stepped away from it a little bit because I was like, what habits like could I potentially implement to do this? And it took a couple hours to really focus it. And so if I was doing this in my planner, I would not even do the spread because I would not even know what I would want to do. So I really love that this kind of gave me the space to think about it and come up with a plan before committing it to my planner and then just hating the way my habit tracker looks, and then I just abandon it for the next 3 months. And I'm going to set aside 1 day a week to go through my budget. I've decided that that's going to be Sundays because usually Sunday is no spend Sunday. Start going to bed 1 hour earlier. I don't really know if that is the best way to track that, but I do know to fix my morning routine, I also have to focus on my night routine. And to me, it's more attainable. Like the habit of going to bed earlier is more attainable than saying, oh, I'm gonna wake up early and like have this crazy morning routine. So that's kind of why I broke it down. I'm a very active person, so this doesn't really seem that crazy to me, but I want to start a run streak of at least 1 mile. And that is how I use my quarterly reset planner. It's meant to be very low stakes, a place to just brainstorm safely. About this quarterly reset planner is that I can reuse it for the rest of the year. I worked the first time around, and it's just a constantly evolving thing because you know, we are constantly evolving humans. You know, the seasons change, some part of our routines change. And I think it's just important to also have only ecosystems that can change with you as well. And like I mentioned earlier, this is not meant to replace your physical planners. It's just to give you a better idea of what trackers you could possibly put in your planners or what you want to track each month. So I always try to track something, especially in my weeks. This is what I call my input planner. I have really not been the greatest at filling this out just because, like I mentioned it earlier, I'm kind of a little bit everywhere. But now that I know I want to focus on running, tracking my spending, and waking up early, I can create better trackers, especially in the back pages, to keep myself accountable. With this, I can kind of take my time to also think about how I want it to look like and how I can do these two together. So maybe that could be a future video idea for y'all. Maybe at the end of the month, I could do a little monthly audit and keep y'all updated on how this quarterly template is coming to life. So let me know if you're interested in that. If you've been trying to just get your life together before this new quarter begins, I think this might help you. So I'm gonna link it down below for you to download and make it your own. That's it. Bye.